This is the Momentum Podcast.
As your business grows, the potential for pressure and noise to build within your life goes up. Life never really settles down in the entrepreneurial business. In this special episode of the Momentum Podcast, we're joined by Adrianne Meldrum, CEO of Made for Math. At a recent Sharfen Summit, she gave a presentation about the tactics and the results of cleaning up her business by leaning into processes and frameworks. The actions she took lowered the pressure and noise around her so that her capacity for growth increased, and she's making the contribution she's always wanted to make with her business. And she's going to show you how you can do it too. I hope you enjoy.
I'm Alex Sharfen, and this is the Momentum Podcast, made for empire builders, game changers, trailblazers, shot takers, record breakers, world makers, and creators of all kinds. Those among us who can't turn it off and don't know why anyone would want to. We challenge complacency, destroy apathy, and we are obsessed with creating momentum so we can roll over bureaucracy and make our greatest contribution. Sure, we pay attention to their rules, but only so that we can bend them, break them, then rewrite them around our own will. We don't accept our destiny, we define it. We don't understand defeat because you only lose if you stop, and we don't know how. While the rest of the world strives for average and clings desperately to the status quo, we are the minority, the few, who are willing to hallucinate there could be a better future, and instead of just daydreaming of what could be, we endure the vulnerability and exposure it takes to make it real. We are the evolutionary hunters, clearly the most important people in the world, because entrepreneurs are the only source of consistent, positive human evolution, and we always will be.
Okay, so just really quick, thank you for the introduction. That's called Made for Math. We used to be called Math for Middles. I'll give Alex a pass because he entered when we were going through that transition. But we're an all-online math tutorial service for students with dyslexia, dyscalculia, ADHD, and autism, and just any kid that thinks outside of the box. That's our students. And we use a method that's called multisensory math, which is essential for those often forgotten students. Our services are in high demand, and as we've scaled, the clutter just started piling up. And I want to begin by painting a picture of that clutter before starting Sharfen. And then I'll show you how we cleaned up our business using the Sharfen cadence. On the daily, my team watched me vacillate between using whack-a-mole problem solving and waiting around for me to give them directions or next steps. I'm sure you can relate. The team had great ideas to help me, but I always felt like I needed to tell them, well, let me check my data. Oh, wait. Yeah, that's right. I don't have any data. Turns out I had nothing. So decisions were made, by checking my gut or tossing around that proverbial magic 8-ball or checking which way the wind was blowing. That was the best way I knew how to make decisions. On top of all of this, 2020 was rough. I was going through these things personally. We moved from Idaho to Arizona during a pandemic due to a debilitating autoimmune disease. And I felt tremendous mom guilt because I moved my family for my health problems. And then my mother almost died when we got here. And then she tried to do it again. She almost died twice this last year. So to say the least, I could not focus in 2020. Pressure and noise was at an all-time high. And it just happened to be that I joined Sharfen right when we moved to Arizona. So all that was happening while I was trying to implement the Sharfen cadence. But I have to say, I'm super glad I didn't wait for things to get better before implementing. I know we all try to wait for that moment when life settles down. I'm sure you figured out life doesn't really settle down. So we started with yearly planning and creating our first waterfall. And my team was super skeptical about this method, but then they really fell in love with it. And the team no longer waits for me to tell them what to do. They're given autonomy to create results for the business. We got the hang of implementing our waterfall, and then family crisis with my mother became a regular occurrence. And the team was able to carry on without the plan, even when I was in crisis mode, which was so exciting. We tackled the client-centric mission, and this took us months to get right. So I know that there's a thread in the forum, use it. I've used it, and I've used these calls to make mine better. And at each Sharfen Summit, I've shared the mission and refined it each time. And what's so fun is that we're seeing these statements become a reality. Parents and potential new hires even are sharing that this is what they perceive about us, which I'm just thrilled about. That is so exciting. Next, I tackled the CEO metrics and the personal net worth, and I realized I have zero helpful data, nothing. But like magic, that week, Alex announced an expert call with Pam Pryor, and she's Alex's CFO. And listening to Alex, Matt, and Pam talk, I realized, wow, I really need more insight on how to get these business financials in order. So I immediately purchased Pam's book while I was in the call, and it's a short read packed with all the information that I needed. I highly recommend you all read it. It was so good. It took me maybe an hour to read. I realized I couldn't pull the data quickly and it never felt accurate. So I fired my bookkeeper after reading this book. For about 5 months, I did the finances. I hated it. You should have saw my time studies. It was such a time suck. I hated it. But what I learned about my business, I did not like. I didn't like what I was seeing. But Pam helped me see that I had a cash flow problem and financial triggers that needed my attention. So I decided to start taking care of those financial triggers. In September 2020, I did my first therapy session and an EMDR around finances. It was amazing, but it also led to this interesting experience. I had a full-blown panic attack in front of my executive assistant about the business finances. And she was amazing, by the way. You all need a really good EA. She held space for me. And then at the end of the call, I asked for her help to protect myself. Like, I need help protecting myself. Can you help me work on these finances and get things in order? By November, I onboarded us into QuickBooks Online, which my husband says is a miracle, that the EMDR must have worked because I hung in there. QuickBooks is so confusing. I'm sure you can relate. But I did it. I onboarded us in there and stuck in, even though I had to reset the account twice. I did it. But I wouldn't have been able to do that without EMDR in my life. By December, I had fixed the cash flow, and we saw a 60% jump in revenue in 1 month just from fixing the cash flow problem. So as mentioned yesterday, you all have access to the daily calls inside of Sharfen. And I encourage you to come to those meetings and make sure that you're bringing quality questions to your coaching call. There are no stupid questions. I've asked them. You can ask Deanna. I've asked really dumb questions before. And sometimes she's not sure how to answer me, but my questions got better. And as they got better, my outcomes were better. So the results became exponentially better. And I'm blown away at some of the things that we've been able to do as a team due to these coaching calls. So all of those experiences helped me finally see what Alex is trying to teach us with the billionaire code. But the biggest thing last time that I picked up was look left and fill in the deficits, because if we don't, those deficits will haunt your business. And this is similar actually to how we do things with our students. We look for the core deficits and we fill them in so students have a steady math foundation. We practice what's called teaching whole to part. So this is 57, little math lesson for you. It's made up of 5 10s and 7 1s. So if you think about it, Alex teaches whole to part as well. Here's how to take the whole, your big, beautiful mission, to part using process, projects, and people so that your mission will become a reality. As we've taken our vision and applied the Sharfen cadence, we've seen fantastic results, such as an increase of 255% in revenue from July to January. July is when we started, just that much. It blows my mind. The CEO metrics unlocked for me that I could see finally that payroll was eating up 80% of my gross revenue, which once I realized that, I was so sick to my stomach. But now it's at 55%. The Sharfen coaches helped me see that I was overpaying several people on my team. I eliminated positions and even cut pay. I had tons of hard conversations. It was awful to swallow your pride and admit you screwed up royally. But to my surprise and delight, my team members did not leave me, even with those changes. And Alex, you always say that entrepreneurs have fear and abandonment issues. I totally have fear and abandonment issues. So even though I had those tough conversations, we will have our payroll down to about 45% of gross by this fall. We have a plan mapping that out. And so I'm thankful to these team members for believing in me and trusting the vision I have for our company. And finally, after the last Sharp and Cadence Day in March, I realized, and Eddie, I am proud to say I'm doing self-care. I did EMDR again. And now Eddie can talk about water all he wants, and I will be just fine with it. I will join in the water drink without any triggers, thanks to therapy. But I also realized I needed to do more fun things, so I do a pool party every single Friday. But the biggest result that I'm so proud of is that we hit our critical number of 60 current students and our financial revenue goal on May 26th. I'm just so proud of my team. They're amazing, amazing people. So at Made for Math, our vision is clear. It's so clear, thanks to the Sharp and Cadence. And we are the clear leader, helping children with complex learning differences rise to their highest potential, not just in math, but in all areas of their life. So if you'd like to connect with myself or my wonderful team, be sure to visit our website here that you see, or YouTube. YouTube's super fun, by the way. You should go check it out. But to wrap things up today, I believe the quickest way to clean up your clutter is to start with that whole vision and select just one small part of the Sharp and Cadence to implement this week, just this week. And it's those small little parts that create more space in your schedule and make your vision a reality.
Hey there, this is Eddie Kirk with Alex Sharfin's team. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Momentum Podcast. Listen, if you're ready to take the next step, if you're ready to understand the systems and processes and frameworks that we teach entrepreneurs to grow and scale their business with confidence, we're ready to help you. If you go to billionairecode.com right now, you can get on a call with a member of our coaching team and find out which one of our coaching programs best fit the needs of your business right now. We know that when you are clear on where you're going and you're excited about the outcome, you will put the accelerator pedal to the floor and you won't let up. Let us help you get into momentum, grow and scale your business, and make the impact that you've always known you should. Go to billionairecode.com right now to get started. We'll see you there.